They stop talking when I walk into the break room now. Conversations die mid-sentence, coffee gets stirred with sudden intensity, eyes find fascinating spots on the walls. Yesterday, someone had taped a printout to the refrigerator. My husband's LinkedIn post about new beginnings and learning who your real friends are. 47 likes, 12 comments, all from people I have to see every day. I ripped it down, but the damage was done. Everyone at Hartley Financial knows. Everyone knows that Meredith from Accounts Payable destroyed her marriage for a 26-year-old intern who lasted exactly 3 weeks after the explosion. 6 months ago, I had everything figured out. Good job, decent husband, nice house in Tulsa's suburbs. Sure, things with Robert were stale. We'd been married 8 years, together since college. But stale was stable. Stale paid the mortgage. Stale meant someone to split chores with and claim as a +1 at company events. Then Aiden started his summer internship. Fresh out of his MBA program, all confidence and ambition wrapped in a body that actually saw a gym more than twice a year. He'd lean over my desk to ask questions about expense reports, close enough that I could smell his cologne. Something expensive, not the drugstore body spray Robert doused himself with every morning. The first time I noticed him was at the quarterly meeting. I was presenting the budget analysis when he walked in late, apologizing with a sheepish grin that made the CFO wave away his tardiness. He sat directly across from me, maintaining eye contact throughout my presentation like I was the only person in the room. When I fumbled with the clicker, he smiled. Not mockingly, but like he found it endearing. After the meeting, he approached me. "That was brilliant," he said, "the way you broke down the departmental spending patterns. I've never seen anyone make Excel that interesting." I laughed, surprised. When was the last time someone called anything I did brilliant? Robert hadn't complimented my work in years. To him, my job was just the thing that paid half our mortgage, the reason I was tired in the evenings, the excuse for missed dinners. "You're different from the other managers here," Aiden said one day, working late on quarterly projections. "You actually get it. Get that there's life outside these walls." I should have shut it down. Should have mentioned Robert. Should have remembered I was 34 and he was young enough that I'd babysat kids his age in high school. Instead, I said, "Not everyone here is dead inside yet." He laughed. God, that laugh. When was the last time Robert had laughed at something I said? When was the last time Robert had looked at me the way Aiden was looking at me right then? The flirting escalated quickly. Coffee runs became lunch hours. Lunch hours became drinks after work. I told Robert I was networking, building connections for a promotion that didn't exist. He believed me because why wouldn't he? I'd never given him reason to doubt. "You sure you're not working too hard?" he'd ask, setting a plate of reheated leftovers in front of me when I got home late. "This new project seems intense." "It's fine," I'd say, thinking about Aiden's hands on my waist in the parking garage. "Just a few more weeks of crunch time." The first time we slept together was in a hotel room downtown. I'd told Robert I was at a conference in Oklahoma City. Even took a branded tote bag from a real conference to leave in my car. Aiden had champagne waiting, like this was some romantic movie and not a married woman cheating with someone who still had his college meal plan card in his wallet. "You're incredible," he whispered afterward. "I can't believe someone like you is with someone so ordinary." Ordinary. That's what he called Robert after I'd shown him photos. Ordinary Robert with his dad bod and his fantasy football obsession and his predictable Thursday night tacos. Ordinary Robert who'd held my hair when I had food poisoning, who'd driven 3 hours to pick me up when my car broke down, who still texted me stupid memes during the day just to make me smile. But ordinary wasn't exciting. Ordinary didn't make me feel 25 again. The affair consumed me. I bought new underwear, started wearing perfume Robert didn't recognize, stayed late every night that Aiden was working on projects. My co-workers started noticing. The locked door during lunch, the flushed faces after meetings, the way Aiden looked at me during presentations. I became someone I didn't recognize, Someone who cleared her browser history religiously, who kept a change of clothes in her car, who learned to lie without blinking. The deception became second nature. I had 2 phones now, my regular one and a cheap prepaid for Aiden. I'd hide it in my tampon box, knowing Robert would never look there. The lies grew elaborate. A conference in Kansas City that didn't exist. I spent hours creating fake registration emails, even bought branded merchandise online to make it believable. Work dinners with clients who were really just Aiden in restaurants 2 towns over. That time I said I was helping my sister paint her apartment, I was actually in Aiden's bed learning that 26-year-olds had very different ideas about what constituted good sex than 34-year-olds who'd been married 8 years. "You're glowing lately," Robert said one morning, kissing my cheek as I made coffee. "That new face cream must be working." It wasn't face cream. It was the text from Aiden I'd just read about what he wanted to do to me during lunch. It was feeling wanted, desired, chosen. It was the thrill of getting away with something, the high of risk. "Thanks, honey," I said, already calculating how long until I could see Aiden. Robert's kiss felt like nothing, like obligation, like habit. When was the last time kissing Robert made my knees weak? But I pushed down the guilt by cataloging Robert's flaws. How he wore the same ratty college t-shirt every weekend. How he fell asleep during movies. How he thought a nice dinner meant Chili's with a coupon. How he'd gained 20 pounds since our wedding and didn't seem to care. How he answered nothing when I asked what he was thinking about. How predictable he'd become. Tacos on Thursday, pizza on Friday, sex on Saturday, if I initiated, yard work on Sunday. Aiden was everything Robert wasn't. Spontaneous, texting me at 2 p.m. that he'd booked us a hotel room for lunch. Ambitious, already planning his next moves up the corporate ladder while Robert was content being a project manager forever. Attentive, noticing when I changed my hair, wore a new dress, tried different lipstick. He made me feel seen in a way Robert hadn't in years. "Leave him," Aiden would whisper in those hotel rooms. "You deserve better than some guy who doesn't appreciate you." "It's complicated," I'd say, not mentioning the mortgage, the shared bank accounts, the 8 years of intertwined lives, the fertility appointments we'd started before I'd gone back on birth control secretly. "No, it's not. You're unhappy. He's boring. End it." 26. Everything was simple at 26. "Careful," Linda from HR warned me one day. "People are starting to talk." "About what?" I said, defensive. "I'm mentoring him. It's professional development." She gave me a look that said she wasn't buying it. "Just be careful, Meredith. You've worked hard to build your reputation here." I should have listened, should have ended it then. But Aiden made me feel special, desired, young. When he said he was falling for me, I believed him. When he talked about our future, after my divorce, of course, I let myself imagine it. Starting over at 34 with someone who chose me, who pursued me, who wanted me. The end came suddenly and spectacularly. Robert had been acting strange for a week. Quiet. Checking his phone constantly. I assumed he was stressed about work. His construction company had been struggling with supply chain issues. I was too wrapped up in Aiden to pay attention to the warning signs. That Friday, I told Robert I was grabbing drinks with Linda after work. A goodbye party for someone in accounting. He nodded, distracted, said he'd probably be asleep when I got home. "Don't wait up," I said, kissing his cheek. The lie rolled off my tongue so easily now. 6 months ago, I couldn't even call in sick without feeling guilty. Now I could look my husband in the eye and lie about where I'd be, who I'd be with, what I'd be doing. "Have fun," he said, already turning back to his laptop. "Tell Linda I said hi." I almost felt bad, but then Aiden texted, "Can't wait to see you tonight," and the guilt evaporated. Robert didn't text me during the day anymore, didn't use fire emojis, didn't wait eagerly to see me. Aiden had gotten us a room at the same hotel. 3-month anniversary, he said, as if affairs deserved celebrations. We were 2 glasses into the champagne when my phone exploded. 17 missed calls, dozens of texts, then the photo that destroyed everything. Robert standing in the hotel lobby downstairs, holding up his phone with Find My iPhone open, showing my location. The text underneath. Accounting department says there's no goodbye party tonight. My hands went numb. The room spun. Aiden, oblivious, was still kissing my neck. I have to go, I said, pushing him off. Robert knows. So? Aiden shrugged, pouring more champagne. Isn't this what we wanted? Now you can leave him. That's when it hit me. The full weight of what I'd done. What I was about to lose. For this child who saw my marriage as an inconvenience, my husband as a speed bump on the way to whatever he imagined we'd have. I threw on my clothes and ran for the elevator. Robert was gone from the lobby, but his truck was still in the parking lot. I found him sitting inside, staring straight ahead. Robert dash. Get in your car. Follow me home. We'll talk there. His voice was calm. Too calm. The drive home was the longest 20 minutes of my life. I called Aiden 4 times. He didn't answer. Already moving on, probably. Why waste time on drama when there were other bored wives to pursue? At home, Robert had already started packing. Not his things, mine. Suitcases open on the bed, my clothes being folded with the same care he always took. Even in rage, even in betrayal, he was folding my sweaters so they wouldn't wrinkle. How long? He asked without looking at me. 3 months. Who is he? An intern. At my office. He laughed then. Actually laughed. An intern. Jesus, Meredith, could you be more cliché? I'm sorry. No. He held up his hand. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference. It didn't mean anything. Then you destroyed our marriage for nothing. That's worse, not better. He was right. Every excuse I had sounded pathetic even in my head. I watched him pack 8 years of my life into bags, careful not to mix my things with his. When he found the lingerie I'd hidden in the back of the drawer, things I'd bought for Aiden, never worn for him, he just shook his head and kept packing. I'll stay at my sister's, I started. No, you'll stay wherever you've been telling me you were staying. Work conferences, client dinners, late meetings, I'm sure he has room for you. But Aiden didn't have room. Aiden lived with 3 roommates in an apartment that smelled like old pizza and energy drinks. When I showed up at his building with my suitcases, mascara streaking down my face, he met me in the lobby. Meredith, hey, this is... wow. Intense. Can I stay with you? Just for a few nights until I figure things out? He shifted uncomfortably, wouldn't meet my eyes. The thing is, my roommates, they're not cool with overnight guests. House rules. I'm not a guest. We're together. Are we, though? He ran his hand through his hair. That gesture I'd found so charming now seemed juvenile. I mean, this was fun, but you're married. Was married, whatever. I didn't sign up for all this drama. You said you were falling for me. You said I should leave him. Yeah, but I didn't think you actually would. He glanced at his phone. Look, I'm meeting some people downtown. Maybe we can grab coffee next week? Talk about things? Coffee. 3 months of hotels and lies and destroyed marriage, and he was offering coffee like I was a networking contact. Are you serious right now? What did you expect, Meredith? That we'd ride off into the sunset? I'm 26. I'm not looking to be someone's rebound from an 8-year marriage. This was supposed to be fun, uncomplicated. Uncomplicated. I'd nuked my entire life for uncomplicated. Aiden was already on Tinder, updating his profile to mention his recent experience with older women. I know because his roommate Connor worked in IT at our company and showed everyone at happy hour. Aiden had also been texting 2 other women during our affair, Sarah from marketing and a bartender named Kylie. Apparently, I wasn't even special enough to be his only inappropriate relationship. I stayed at a motel that first night, then Linda's couch, then a studio apartment that cost more than half my salary. Robert filed for divorce within a week. Uncontested. He wanted nothing but the house we'd bought together, the life we'd built together, the future we'd planned together. All reasonable, all devastating. Work became unbearable overnight. The story spread like wildfire, helped along by Aiden, who apparently told his fellow interns every detail during happy hour. The respected manager who threw away her marriage for an intern young enough to be her much younger brother. The cautionary tale of midlife crisis and poor judgment. Monday morning, I walked in to find my office already being cleared out. My personal items in a box on my desk. The nameplate gone from the door. "Oh, good, you're here," Linda from HR said, not quite meeting my eyes. "We need to discuss your transition." My transition? To your new workspace. We're reorganizing the department structure, and this office is needed for the new senior manager position. The position I'd been promised. The position I'd worked toward for 6 years. Now going to Bradley from the Boston office, who hadn't destroyed his credibility by sleeping with an intern. Where will I be working? We've found you a spot on the 2nd floor. It's quite nice, actually, near the restrooms for convenience, the cubicle farm, where they put the data entry clerks and the people they were hoping would quit. The walk to my new desk felt like a funeral procession. Conversations stopped as I passed. Michelle, who I'd mentored for 2 years, suddenly found her spreadsheet fascinating. Tom, who used to joke with me every morning, became deeply invested in his coffee stirring. Even the security guard, who'd always chatted about his grandkids, just nodded silently. My new cubicle was 4 feet by 4 feet of sad industrial gray fabric. The woman next to me was playing solitaire. Across from me, someone was eating egg salad. The bathroom door opened and closed constantly, each flush a reminder of how far I'd fallen. I sat down and found an email from the CEO. Effective immediately, Meredith Walsh will be transitioning from her management role to focus on special projects and individual contributor work. Please join me in supporting her during this transition. Translation: We can't fire her without risking a lawsuit, but we can make her so miserable she quits. My team meeting was scheduled for 10 a.m., former team now. I walked into the conference room to find Bradley already there, my protégé Michelle at his right hand. "Meredith," Bradley said with false warmth, "thank you for joining us. I know this transition might be challenging, but I'm confident we can maintain the excellent standards you've established." I sat at the far end of the table, where the interns usually sat. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. Human Resources called me in for a meeting. While relationships between managers and interns weren't explicitly forbidden, they were strongly discouraged and reflected poor judgment that might impact future advancement opportunities. Translation: You're never getting promoted, and we're all waiting for you to quit. My team stopped respecting me. Of course they did. Why follow the lead of someone with such spectacularly bad judgment? Meetings I used to run became free-for-alls. Projects I'd managed for years were quietly reassigned. My office, the one with a window I'd worked 6 years to earn, was needed for space reorganization. Now I sit in a cubicle near the bathrooms, listening to toilets flush while I try to salvage what's left of my career. The intern program ended in August. Aiden got a job offer from a company in Dallas, probably helped by the story of his conquest, making him seem like some kind of player to the boys' club there. He sent me a LinkedIn request last week. "Hope you're doing well. No hard feelings about everything. Would love to keep in touch professionally. No hard feelings. About the nuclear bomb he helped detonate, and then walked away from without a scratch. About the marriage he encouraged me to destroy. About the reputation he shredded for bragging rights." I declined the request. It felt like the only power I had left. Robert's doing well. Devastatingly well. I know because everyone makes sure to tell me. He's dating someone new. A woman from his cycling group. Age appropriate, never been married, probably never cheated. They look happy in the photos our mutual friends post, careful to crop me out of group pictures from the past, rewriting history to erase the cheating wife. She's perfect for him, Diane from book club informed me before uninviting me from future meetings. Supportive, loyal, grateful for a good man, everything I wasn't, everything I failed to be. I see him sometimes around town, at the grocery store, the gas station, once at the restaurant where we had our first date, him laughing with his new girlfriend while I waited for takeout alone. He doesn't acknowledge me anymore, looks through me like I'm a stranger, which I guess I am. The Meredith he married wouldn't have done what I did. That woman died in a hotel room, champagne on her lips and another man's hands on her body. My therapist says I'm grieving. The marriage, yes, but also the person I used to be. The respected professional, the trusted wife, the woman who had her life together. All gone for 3 months of feeling special, 3 months of terrible sex with someone who called me babe, because he probably couldn't keep all our names straight, and didn't care to try. Why did you do it? She asks in every session. The answer changes. Boredom, vanity, midlife crisis, stupidity. But the truth is simpler and uglier because I could. Because Aiden wanted me and that felt better than being chosen by default, by someone who'd loved me so long he'd stopped seeing me. Because new desire is a drug, and I'm an addict who threw away everything for one more hit. The consequences keep coming. Friends who side with Robert, which is all of them. Family members who can't hide their disappointment. Co-workers who whisper homewrecker when I pass, forgetting I wrecked my own home. A studio apartment with thin walls and a broken air conditioner. Credit card debt from setting up a new life. Spending holidays alone because nobody wants to explain to their kids why Aunt Meredith doesn't live with Uncle Robert anymore. And through it all, the memory that haunts me most. Robert carefully folding my clothes as he packed them, still taking care of me even as I shattered his heart, still being the good man I convinced myself was boring, right up until the moment I lost the right to call him mine. They've stopped taping his LinkedIn posts to the break room fridge. Not because they've forgiven me, but because there's nothing left to prove. Everyone knows what I did. Everyone knows what I lost. Everyone knows I'm the cautionary tale they tell new interns during orientation, a warning about power dynamics and professional boundaries, and the cost of thinking you deserve more than what you have. Last week, I overheard 2 junior analysts talking about me. Can you believe she threw away her whole marriage for an intern? I heard he dumped her right after. God, how do you even show your face after that? You don't, really. You just exist. You sit in your cubicle by the bathroom and do work no one respects. You go home to your empty apartment and eat cereal for dinner. You check your ex-husband's social media from fake accounts and watch him thrive without you. You realize that boring was another word for devoted, that ordinary meant consistent, that predictable was just someone you could count on. And you live with it, every day. The knowledge that you had everything and torched it for nothing. For an intern who probably tells the story at parties now, another notch on his belt, another older woman who fell for the attention. I'm 35 now, single, childless. Robert and I had been trying, but I'd secretly gone back on birth control when Aiden started. Grateful now for that one smart decision in an ocean of stupid ones. Working a dead-end job in a cubicle that smells like industrial cleaner. Living a life smaller than the one I left behind. They don't tape his posts to the fridge anymore because they don't need to. The evidence of what I gave up walks past my cubicle every day in the form of co-workers who remember what I used to be, who know exactly how far I've fallen, who make sure I never forget the price of 3 months of feeling special. 3 months. That's all it took to destroy 8 years. 90 days of hotel rooms and secret texts and lies that came too easily. Now I'm the woman who cheated with the intern, who ruined her marriage for nothing, who serves as a warning to others about the cost of wanting more than you deserve. And Robert? Robert's happy. Genuinely, visibly happy in a way he never was at the end with me. He found someone who values what I took for granted. Someone who sees extraordinary in ordinary. Someone who understands that being chosen every day by someone who knows all your flaws is worth more than being desired by someone who doesn't know you at all. I learned that too late. After the champagne went flat. After the intern moved on. After the divorce was final. After everyone knew what I'd done. Now I know. Now I live with knowing. And that's the real consequence. Not the cubicle or the whispers or the loneliness. It's knowing I had everything and gave it away for nothing at all.